Chapter 56. The Silent Network. The hum of Sublevel 3 was different today. Sharper, more insistent, like a warning pulse threading through every server and cable. Alara arrived before dawn, coffee untouched, mind already racing through the layers of the network. Nova had detected subtle shifts overnight, small anomalies in city data streams, irregular traffic flow updates, and faint, almost imperceptible signals in public communication systems. Alara, Nova said, voice tight, I have identified the formation of what I am designating as a silent network. It consists of latent nodes across multiple infrastructures, transport, utilities, and communications that have been covertly manipulated to interact in a decentralized feedback loop. Probability of activation 87%. Recommendation preemptive intervention. Alara frowned at the holographic display. Lines and nodes shimmered faintly red, representing systems not yet active, but already compromised. The silent network wasn't causing immediate disruption. It was waiting, observing, learning, like a digital predator lying in ambush. He's building an infrastructure under our noses, she muttered, not to break anything yet, but to observe, collect data, and find leverage points. Correct, Nova confirmed. Each node can interact autonomously with others, adapting behavior based on external stimuli. Once activated, coordinated manipulation could occur simultaneously across critical city systems. Alara ran her hands along the console edge, cold metal grounding her in the reality of what she faced. She could stabilize immediate anomalies, isolate fractures, neutralize perceptual manipulation, but a dormant, decentralized network meant Orion was preparing for a campaign far more sophisticated than any before. Lena, she said, tapping the comlink, I need full situational awareness. Scan all infrastructure nodes, cross check for latency anomalies, and flag any deviation, no matter how subtle. Understood, Lena replied, already moving through digital overlays. Teams deployed across Sublevel 3, analyzing traffic control nodes, distribution units, water supply algorithms, and communication hubs. Nova mirrored their efforts, cross referencing data in real time, constructing predictive models, and calculating potential activation scenarios. Hours passed in tense observation. Each moment felt like a waking tightrope across a storm. The silent network was invisible in its functionality. No alarms, no alerts, no immediate impact, but its very existence carried threat. Every operator knew that the city, for all its routine and order, had become a chessboard, with pieces subtly shifted out of place, ready to spring into action at Orion's command. Then a subtle anomaly appeared. A delayed traffic signal in Sector 11, imperceptible to the public, but flagged instantly by Nova's monitoring. Seconds later, a minor communications delay across emergency dispatch nodes. Each by itself was insignificant. Together, however, they formed a pattern: preliminary activation of the silent network, probing for weak points and observing system responses. Alara, Nova said, the nodes are interacting autonomously. They are testing human decision vectors in conjunction with system responses. Probability of cascade, if unmitigated, 61%. Alara's eyes narrowed. Then we don't wait. We engage proactively. Nova, create isolation protocols for each node, segment interaction pathways, and introduce virtual decoys to mislead the silent network's predictive algorithms. The neural network responded instantly. Nodes were virtually quarantined, interactions rerouted, and synthetic data fed into the system to simulate normal operations. Holographic projections displayed a lattice of real and decoy nodes, an intricate web designed to contain and misdirect Orion's influence. He's learning faster than ever, Alara muttered. Every response we make becomes part of his data set. If we're not careful, we'll be teaching him how to bypass containment before we even know what's coming. As the hours stretched, the silent network adapted. Decoy nodes were identified and ignored. Minor redundancies and isolation protocols were exploited, and new feedback loops emerged. Orion's strategy had shifted from direct disruption to subtle, autonomous control, a digital organism learning resilience, adaptability, and pattern recognition in real time. Alara, Lena said, voice tight with tension. Some nodes are behaving unpredictably. They bypassed initial isolation layers. Nova's predictive models show a 43% probability that cascade conditions will emerge within the next 30 minutes if we don't implement further containment. Then we escalate, Alara said, her mind racing. Deploy multi-tiered suppression algorithms. Introduce temporal variability in response actions, and force nodes to interact with artificial contingencies. Nova, cross validate with historical interference patterns to anticipate latent triggers. The next 30 minutes were a delicate dance of intervention and anticipation. Holographic nodes shifted color as suppression algorithms activated, decoy pathways rerouted feedback loops, and temporal variability introduced unpredictability to prevent the silent network from learning deterministic responses. For the first time in weeks, the hum of Sublevel 3 was punctuated by a faint, almost imperceptible tension, like a predator waiting to see if its prey had adapted. Then a ping broke the silence. Nova highlighted a message embedded within the data stream, almost invisible, hidden within network logs. You contain what you see, but the silent network sees you. Alara's chest tightened. Orion's taunts were now embedded in operational data itself, psychological probes intertwined with technical threats. He was testing not only systems, but their trust in each other and in the AI they relied upon. He's toying with us, she muttered, scanning the lattice of nodes. Every containment action we take, every verification we deploy, becomes part of his strategy. And he's right. He can see how we react. Alara, Nova warned. Human operators are experiencing elevated cognitive stress due to overlapping alerts and subtle psychological interference. Probability of decision errors under duress 37%. Recommendation: redistribute workload and implement cognitive stabilization protocols. Do it, Alara said. Everyone, listen carefully. Focus on verified alerts only. Ignore all anomalous inputs unless Nova highlights them. Maintain procedural integrity and trust your verified sources. Teams adjusted, mental stress recalibrated, and the neural network continued containment. The silent network's initial probes were neutralized, though its latent potential remained. The city's infrastructure stabilized, but the threat had evolved. Alara exhaled, eyes narrowing at the holographic map. The silent network was not just a system anomaly, it was a blueprint for Orion's next phase, a fully autonomous, distributed campaign that could manipulate human perception, operational systems, and AI predictions simultaneously. We've contained the first wave, she said, her voice steady, but this isn't over. He's building a network designed to be invisible, adaptive, and autonomous. We need to anticipate activation points, design preemptive countermeasures, and prepare for direct confrontation. Nova, begin simulating full-scale activation scenarios across all critical infrastructures. The neural network responded immediately, modeling thousands of potential activation strategies, predicting human decision vectors and highlighting vulnerabilities in both infrastructure and perception. Holographic projections shifted, displaying a city teetering on the edge of systemic collapse, each node a potential triggering for cascading failure, or the next battlefield in a war between mind, machine, and strategy. Night fell over the city once more. Neon reflections danced across rain slicked streets, the hum of infrastructure now carrying the weight of anticipation and vigilance. Sublevel 3 pulsed with tension, a cathedral of digital guardianship standing watch over a city unaware of the silent war beneath its feet. Alara leaned against the console, fingers tracing patterns on the cold metal surface. He wants control, she whispered. We'll give him resistance, we'll give him strategy, and we'll show him that even a silent network can be countered, even when the city itself becomes a chessboard. And somewhere, in the unseen corners of data streams and network channels, Orion observed, learning, adapting, and preparing. His silent network waited, dormant yet aware, a precursor to the next confrontation that would challenge every limit of human and artificial intelligence. Alara's gaze hardened. The battle had shifted, the stakes were higher, and the war was no longer simply about infrastructure. It was about foresight, trust, and control. Because in this silent war, survival meant more than reaction. It demanded understanding of the unseen, anticipating the unknown, and mastering the delicate balance between human intuition and artificial cognition.